welcoming you to our podcast, Navigating Life. And it's a podcast about creating your own reality from your dreams and also the way that everyone embraces change in their lives as they are going through challenges and lessons. And we love hearing from people how they go through their own roadmap. Um,
Yeah, how they navigate through life.
yeah.
So hence the podcast, Navigating Through Life.
Love it.
Yeah, and we
Love it.
invited you because you have been one of my biggest inspirations to do exactly that. I've known you for most of my immigrant life in Netherlands, so that's been almost 20 years that I've been following you online, and then of course having you as my fitness coach and now as my business and life performance coach for what I'm very grateful for since last year. And yeah, it makes sense that you are our first guest because all this that we are building, it's also with your immense help and guidance. And yeah, that's the reason. And for people that don't know you, we'd love for you to introduce yourself and maybe add from where you come from, where you're living, and how do you travel in general, but also what you do in your day-to-day life.
Thank you so much for having me, Clara. And my cheeks are hurting from smiling from this introduction. So yeah, love that and love being here with you too. So my name is Monika Mazur and I live in the United States. I live in Connecticut right now. I lived in Boston for many years and that's where I'm headed soon. I am an immigrant just like yourself who came to the United States at 21 years old by myself as a nanny. And then discovered fitness by accident. Communication was my background, but I thought, I have an accent. I cannot be on television with an accent. And then fitness kind of came up as a second option, although now it's the first option. It's always been the first option because it is the foundation to everything. And I started training women full-time in 2008. And I did bodybuilding for some time. And I quit working for corporate America gyms in 2016. And from 2017 on, I've been fully self-employed. I ran a fitness studio for 3 years, closed it happily with Corona, and then moved it all online. So for the last 5.5 years, I've been working fully remotely online by myself. And I love it. I love the flexibility. I love the diversity. I love the freedom. Freedom is my highest value. I'm committed to it for myself, as in freedom in your body, freedom to do what you want, freedom to go where you want, freedom to earn what you want. And so I'm committed to it for myself, but for other people as well, therefore my work. And it's a pleasure to be here. And it's a pleasure to work with you for so long. I hope that Iggy's not going to get tired of me in your life for so long. But Mark,
No, it's okay.
Mark again, what are we doing?
No, it's okay. It's okay. I really enjoy it. I feel blessed actually that you've helped Clara in pursuing her goals, or somebody else who can tell I told you so. And that is really, really great, of course. I not at all jealous. You're one of our steady companions through our life, actually, more or less. Which is really cool. I'm glad we can steal a little bit of your time to talk about how to navigate through life. And we prepared a few questions. I've forgotten them already, so don't mind us grabbing a little paper or a booklet here so we can remind ourselves about the few questions.
I have a question. So I
Yeah.
told you so to Clara. What are some of the themes that I told you so? She doesn't listen to you, but she listens after I repeat that, which I don't know that I'm repeating that. But what are some of the things that you noticed that Clara wasn't listening to you, but now she's listening?
Well, a few business decisions, which I already said we have to go this way, and then she says, "Yeah, I'm not sure, and maybe, and this and that." And after she talks to you, that business decision is affirmed by you or confirmed by you, and then I'm like, "Yeah, okay, told you so," and Monica says so too. So let's go.
Oh, I love it. I love it. No, I thought it was more in the realm of perfectionism, and like procrastinating with certain things that Clara at the beginning was dealing with a lot and wanting things to be perfect. And so then nothing was happening. But yeah, that's happening a lot with folks my type.
Yeah, and especially because I'm not always there, you know. As you know, I'm working 14 days offshore and 14 days at home, and God, yeah, how do you say it? Um, uh, Trying to get her things done, talking over the phone. Yeah, that's a real special way of trying to convince your wife, who is not at all stubborn, but just perfectionist. But no, it's we love it. I was saying this afternoon, I'm so glad that we can have this life. We drove back from Germany, not a worry of in the world. She's been visiting the bazaar here in the vicinity of the mooring where we're now. Um, we can go anywhere, we can do anything because we've realized a particular life um, that gives us that freedom, and it's not, yeah, it is a freedom. How do you see it is or how other people perceive it? Yeah, maybe it's for them a difficult way of life, but we have a good way of life, and you know that yourself as well as entrepreneur or self-employed entrepreneur, that yeah, you have choices to make, but those choices you make yourself, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. No, the freedom is huge. Absolutely. I agree. Of course, it comes with a price because there's also the responsibility. It's like a back and front of the hand. You have the responsibilities and then you have the freedom. But when you work for someone else, whether here or elsewhere, you have to respond to them, and then you don't have the freedom and you do have responsibilities. And sure, maybe you have some, or you perceive that you have some sort of safety as you're being employed, but it's very, I think it's an illusion, and things can end anytime when you work for someone else. So the safety that people perceive is a bit of an illusion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally is. It's of course, like you said, I totally agree with it. And I've been self-employed for the last 8 years, and we had really good freedom. And now I've chosen to work for a company which provides me with a good training, with progressing me in my professional life again. But yes, it does bring just the responsibilities. And it's a great company for that matter, but it still brings more responsibilities than or an obligation than the freedom you have as a self-employed entrepreneur.
Choices, choices,
Definitely.
choices. All about choices.
Yeah.
You weigh
Totally.
the
Yeah.
choices
Totally.
and you find that whatever you have on the other side is more valuable, then you go for that. So I totally understand.
Yeah, yeah.
Bring up the
Well,
list.
yeah,
We'll bring up the list because
we are prepared.
we're now slowly
I'm
moving.
afraid. What is happening?
Well, and about on the same theme of making choices for yourself and living the life that you dream of, our motto has always been to live that luxury is a realization of your dreams, like you said already a couple of times. And you have the same outlook into life. So looking back, we'd like to know, when did you notice that creating your own life and realizing the goals and dreams that you thought impossible, they could be your reality, which it is right now? If there was a certain moment that you realized, oh, I'm not going to react to this anymore, I'm just going to create my own way of doing things, of my own reality.
Well, we would have to back up all the way back to Poland when I was a teenager. I really didn't like to ask for things. I didn't really like to be told no. I really didn't like the you had to fit in some sort of molds of like you have to study this way or that way or these things. And I remember vividly being probably 16 or 17 and thinking to myself, whenever I can get the hell out of here, I will. And of course, I was not stupid to just run away and and live under the bridge with a backpack. But I was very clear that I don't want to repeat the same predictable life that many people were repeating generation after generation. Not because there's anything wrong with it, but I just thought it's kind of boring. It's kind of like I don't want to know what's next. I want to be open to what's next and have the world deliver and not, okay, so now this is the time for this and this is time for that. And I saw a lot of people, by the time they were 30, they were married with kids and they were just not even living their own lives. They were living through the lives of their kids. And I thought, I don't want it. And so being 15, 16, in Poland at the time, there were these Poland was after communism, freshly free, freshly democratic. So there was a lot of bands who were singing about like, I'm free, I'm independent, I want the world without borders. And I remember singing these songs and my parents were rolling their eyes. And now I will go to Poland, wave my 2 passports in front of them. And I'm like, remember the thinking? And sure, it took 20 years. But I did what I wanted. And so obviously at 16 or 17, you don't know what's going to happen. But that was kind of the first seed. And then I went to college and I studied journalism, which was nice. But I thought, again, to be on television, I don't know. What are the chances really? Is it really going to work? And so when the opportunity to come to the United States for 1 year as an au pair showed up, I was like, I'll do that. I'll learn English. Maybe that's going to make me stand out when it comes to the journalism career. Because I thought, okay, so if I'm in America for a year, that's going to be huge. I'll come back. And then I came here and I was so fascinated by the freedom. I didn't love it. I did not love it here. I didn't like a lot of things. I didn't like that people thought that I came from some sort of jungle where bears were running on the streets. And in fact, I have bears here in Connecticut. I've never seen a bear in person in Poland. They thought we didn't have sheets. They thought we didn't have microwaves and washing machines. Mind you, that was 2004. And at that time, the home and the way I lived in Poland was more modern that they were living here. The host family was living here. So the first 6 months were really, really tough. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, this feels like the coolest jail ever. Because on one hand, I had the freedoms, but on the other hand, I couldn't just go home and see my parents and visit them and just pop in for the weekend. And I was living around Boston and the Logan airport is very busy there. So I would see planes going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I looked at the sky and it was just completely not feasible for me to go and visit because one, I was making $140 a week. There was nothing because when I was coming here, I thought from Polish perspective about the money. I didn't think from American perspective. I had no clue. And so there was no way to do it financially. There was no way to do it immigration wise because I had the time to stay here and that was that. And yeah, so that was 2004, 5, when I look at the sky and I thought, wow, I'm in jail. I love it, but also I hate it. And I didn't love America as it was. And then I decided to stay for a second year. I changed families, host families, and I decided to stay for a second year to go to school. Harvard Extension was close by, and I wanted to learn the language over there at Harvard. And so I started going to classes there. And it was phenomenal. I loved it. International people. And actually, to back it up, also 6 months into being here, I finally saved enough money to go home. And I announced to my parents that I'm going to stay for the second year. They were very mad. They did not like it. They did not approve it. They said, you said you're going to go there for a year. You're going to come back. And now you want to stay. But I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and that's that. So I didn't have their approval, or they were not cheering on me. I think deep down, it was the fact that they grew up with communism, they grew up with so much restriction, and they made it work. And here I was experiencing or being able to experience all the freedoms they didn't have, and I chose to not. And I chose to leave. Now, looking back, I think that's what it was. And of course, they were worried about me. They were missing me. So their personal concerns, but also like the historical things. And so I ended up staying and going to school. I ended up staying, applying for college and going to school. It was partially because I wanted to learn more, but it was partially also because I wanted a legal status. It was very difficult to stay. And so to kind of like zoom out from there to now, you never know and I didn't know at least what I wanted to do specifically. And I think it's very limiting to be very stuck on how you want things to be. Having a vision or having an intention or having an idea how you want to feel or being clear on your values, such as freedom for me, for example, that can guide you. But when you're very stuck on how you want things to be, you will miss on many opportunities, I think. And so, from becoming so first I studied communication. I became a trainer because I started working with a trainer. I thought, this is really cool, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. I need to go to school to learn all of it myself. So I went to school because that was exciting me at the time. Then I started working at the gym where I was being trained. I was like, I don't really love it. I went to interview at all women's facility. I loved it. So I went there, started working there. Then I thought, I need to do something for marketing, but not for marketing, something that's going to allow me to make money easy. I don't want to be prospecting on the floor, on the gym floor. It's just sleazy. I don't like it. I want to be that kind of trainer people come to because they see my work ethic and my diligence. So I started competing in bodybuilding. And that was the thing that was exciting to me because it gave me my own goals. So it was like one thing after another, one thing after another. Leaving Boston was because I was kind of done already and I didn't see any growth within the company where I was working at. Then going and opening my studio was also like, oh my gosh, that's exciting. How could I make it work? But then after 3 years, you stop growing. You just, okay, I have a full studio. Everybody's coming every day, 7 days a week. That's it. I can't do anything more. So when Corona happened and I had to close, I was like, great, let's just take advantage of this and move online. I didn't realize that we're going to move online to that extent, but that's what we did. And then with life coaching and business coaching, all of it came out of like following my excitement. What was it that excited me? And what was it that I saw people resonated with? So it wasn't that at 17 or 16, I was like, I'm going to live in America and I'm going to be a personal trainer and an online coach for perfectionists and type A people because I have ADHD. And by that time, I'm going to know how to navigate that. I had no clue, but it was one thing after another. And I still function like this. And that's my biggest advice to people to always follow the things that excite you, the things that bring you joy. Because even if you're not making money at first, you once will. And the excitement will show and people will appreciate it. That was me as a trainer at first. I spent all my money on that personal training school. And then I started working and I had no clients whatsoever. And I thought to myself, I think I made a mistake. This is horrible. Like I need to start working. What am I supposed to go back to nannying? This would be such a step back. But then I started with one client and she only could afford half-hour trainings. So I gave her 45 minutes or an hour if I had time. Why? Because I had the time and I was excited to see her. And then that, and then another one, and another one. And so it's always to me about like following your highest excitement and the passion that you have and not having too many expectations, because when you start pushing expectations, like by this time I should start making, just do it. Just do it and enjoy it. You will enjoy it, people will appreciate it, and you will sooner or later make money with this, 100%. And so that's my big advice to, when it comes to like discovering our passions. A lot of people, by the time they're our age about, they buried it so deep, they don't even know what it is. So they would have to, it's not even under the rug that they sweep it out. It's somewhere in the attic or in the basement or somewhere in the garage in the bin. They don't know. They don't know where it is. But I really believe that anyone could do this. And just like you two know, living the life by your design is the best thing ever because that's what life is all about. Going and being like premier in some structure that you hate.
Yeah, exactly. And quite a few points which you mentioned resonate to me being abroad while living, working, and studying also there, which I totally can understand the airplanes flying by and thinking, oh yeah, I could be at home. I've studied in Scotland for the year, and but yeah, couldn't afford it. So yeah, then you just look at the airplanes coming by.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you, Clara, you see also quite a few points which are similar to what Monika also had experienced. Definitely.
Yeah, because when you are at a point that you notice that you're not happy with your current situation right now, and you see what people around you are doing, that they're all complaining about the same things, it's like, I'm so tired of this. I need to get out of this. And for me, that was what kind of bothered us to just go for it.
Yeah.
Because we're like, I'm so done with people complaining about the way that they're living and their neighbors and the news and this and that. And we always encourage each other to go after the things that we really want to do. Like you talk about the excitement of going after something, that's really such a powerful energy to to go for those dreams.
Yeah, definitely, and that's why I find it great that you two get along very so well too. That there is this synergy in it, to throw in one of those modern words I say, but the whole dynamic and the rolling stone, so to say, which is happening, and that's amazing, and yeah, we're all building our own dreams and realizing our dreams, which is fantastic indeed.
And expanding. I think that's also an important part of growth, is that it's not just growing towards a second step or a third, it's actually expanding all your abilities to enjoy life at the most of your abilities.
Well, yeah, indeed. And then of course
go ahead. No, I wanted to add to what Clara was saying, and having it come from you, like internally from you, the dreams, not to prove to your parents that you can, not to be better than your siblings, not to look better when you go back to your hometown, for you, because anything that's driven externally is short-lived. But if it comes from you, a lot of times people are like, Monika, you never stop, like you can't, and it's because it comes from me. I'm not competing with anyone. I'm not doing any of the things that I do, whether fitness or business or life. I'm not doing anything to prove anything to anyone. It's my drive from the inside, and it's not dependent on anybody around. It's just my thing. So that's important too, because I feel like we live in a society where people compare each other to, siblings, brothers, sisters, neighbors, cousins, someone else in the family, someone from high school. And it's like, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
To the thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's exactly what you're saying. You just keep on going and going, and coming to that subject is also that you like you have always fully booked days, and how do you balance that, that's being productive and still calmly work through the days, and you still get your result at the end of the day? What's your magic in there?
I don't know. There's no magic. What, Clara, tell me in a different way. What do you guys want to know? What's the question?
Well, it's like
it's about finding the balance between being fully booked like you always are, and also your self-care, because you find important your body and your mind, and you balance everything all together. And that's what we admire a lot about you, is that you can just keep on going, like you just said, your drive, your energy, your excitement, that's what makes you go through everything. But a lot of people, they can get overstimulated about those things, and at some point they just reach this point of burnout. And for us, when it comes to balance and self-care, that's something that interests us. Also, someone like you, also fully driven, who's always doing everything for yourself and for your community, that you keep everything looking so calm.
This is a very good question. I think no one's ever asked. And so I love it. This is great. Thank you, Claire, for adding more to give me more context. So I think that the key thing is to understand that you cannot do any of the things that you want to do on empty. Meaning, if you don't take care of your food, if you don't take care of your sleep, if you don't take care of yourself as a whole, mind, body, spirit, whatever you do will be very short-lived. You have to take care of this machine that you are and the operating system. So the machine physically and the operating system both need to be dialed in, and then you can do all the things. And so I think I was sharing about this on Instagram yesterday. Having ADHD, and I don't take any medication for it. I've never done it. And I was super, super focused on work yesterday. But the ability to break that focus, that hyper focus, and be like, all right, now it's time to go to the gym. It's 4 o'clock. It's time to go to the gym. I have an hour and a little bit before I teach class. This is the time to go. It takes a lot of self-management and that internal voice to really tune it in, to fine tune it, to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. I structure my days in a very interesting way. For me, it works like a charm. Many people are like, oh, you're crazy, you work 7 days a week. But every single day, there's room for me to exercise if I want to. Every single day, I could meet with you guys for a conversation. Every single day, I could talk to my parents if I wanted to. Every single day, I have time for my dogs. I have enough time to sleep. I have enough time to eat. So yes, I work 7 days a week, but every day there is room for me and for clients and for some networking and for some future plans. And so I'm not the kind of person who would work well with, for example, working 4 days and being off for 3, because I would feel like I would be useless for the 3. There would be no structure. And I think that's driven from ADHD, that I like that structure. You know, I know that my assistant works from Monday to Friday between these and these hours. So that's when we get a chunk of the work done. On the weekends, like the admin work is not there, but I do see clients. So it's, I have that structure. So I like that. It works well for me. And everyone has to kind of discover what works for them. But I do notice exactly what you said, Clara, that many folks in our position will just work. And then they just kind of get up, like a zombie. What happened to me? I don't eat well. I'm living off coffee, especially in America where there's no culture of like family or vacation or anything like that. No maternity leave, no paid time off for many people. So you can work 24/7 and never take a break. And so yeah, for me that was important. And I do work a lot, but I never feel like it's work. So it's just, it's a play and a play and a play. Yeah, whether we're playing here or we're playing in class or we're playing, making sprint months, whatever we're doing, it's always fun. But yeah, I think it's key to figure out what works for you as a human, because maybe your work's very demanding and you do want to work 5 days and then completely unplug for 2. Maybe that's the way to go for you. To me, with my personality type and the ADHD running in the background, I like to have some sort of structure. So even on Saturday, we have class at 9 in the morning. For you, it's 3. And then I have a client usually in the afternoon. So I know that after class, I have some time to fool around, and then I can go to the gym, and then I can come back. And so there is a structure to every single day, even the weekends. Otherwise, it's just a little dilly-dally. And sure, there are a couple of days throughout the year where, I don't know, Thanksgiving, July 4th, where it's like, we have no schedule. But I prefer not to have those kind of days because I enjoy my work. So if I don't do it, even in some capacity of creating content, Clara, there's so much to do, content or programs, training programs, something little, it just feels like I'm missing something that I love. So I don't want to take time off. So that's that. You have to figure it out basically what works for you and your personality type and the life that you have and the circumstances you have to insert that like self-love. Again, I think this is like the best way. The machine has to work, the operating system and the machine. And when it doesn't work, you can't do anything you want to do. You can't be a parent, you can't be a spouse, you can't be a coach, you can't be a business owner. Your life will crumble very fast. We are over 40.
Yeah.
We are over 40.
Totally. But it's you're very right, and I sometimes notice that same what you're saying. It needs to keep on going, and I noticed that on my job. I've been doing now different tugboats, working with different crews, and they all have a different mentality, and some have a more engaged mentality, which keeps everybody going as well, because everybody's just busy. It's not going fast. It's not going. It's just moving. It keeps on going for 14 days on, and time flies. And other crews are less active and less proactive, and then the 14 days seem to be a month. So yeah, it's very recognizable what you're telling and what you're saying. It's yeah, you need to keep on moving, and it's what I have here as well. Clara is also just working along every day a little bit, but we still keep on working, and that's maybe also the part of the freedom you have as entrepreneur, isn't it?
Just like that, the freedom to choose when you do certain things.
Yeah,
Absolutely, I
totally,
agree. Yeah.
totally. And well, going by that freedom is, of course, freedom brings also the traps with it, of course. You have a roadmap towards your goal, and you have a roadmap in your day-to-day life. And do you have a particular way of navigating through that you always keep your eyes on the goal, and how do you select what's important and what's not important in your journey over there?
So I think that ultimately it comes down to our values, right? And so when choosing what's important or what's not, it or what you want to do or what you don't want to do, it comes down to value. What comes to me is a while ago, a client was deciding whether she wanted to move to the city and work for a different company. She's a nurse, and she was so conflicted. She was making lists and all sorts of things. And I said to her, listen, the problem is that you need to sit down and see what it is that you value. Do you value? Because she was like, I'm going to make less money, and I might commute, but I really want to do it. I said, listen, you need to look at what it is that's important for you. What is it that you want about this job or this move that's important to you? And she recognized she wanted to advance her career. She wants to get a different degree. She wanted to bunch of, and so the other things didn't matter so much. So I'm like, listen, if that's the key, you'll deal with the finances, you'll deal with the commute, because the biggest value for you is advancing your career, and that's what matters. For me, I always put it all through the filter of freedom, really, because that's my highest value, and it encompasses so much, because it's like the health and money and all sorts of things. Can I be my own person if I have to? I quit working for corporate America, where at the last interview in 2017, I got there, and it wasn't even like a real interview. I was moving, so I was moving from one location of a gym to another location. And so I went not even dressed professionally, but I went wearing the gym clothes from the previous gym, literally with the name of the company, and a personal trainer and black leggings. And I had leg warmers, black leg warmers. And they were just scrunched up a little bit. You couldn't even see them, they were black. And that lady, we're having a conversation, and I already was a high producer. I was recommended. It was a formality. I was just supposed to meet her. And she said to me, what are you wearing? And mind you, at that point, I'm probably 32 or 33. And I was like, oh, leg warmers. It's very cold. For those of you who don't know, when you work as a personal trainer, it is cold, because the gym is blasting air conditioner, and you are just standing there. You're not exercising. You realize how horrible working in the summer, working at the gym is the worst, because everyone comes from outside so hot and like, oh my God, it's so hot here. And you standing there, red nose like Rudolph, and like you're about to put gloves on because it's freezing, because the AC is so high, and you standing there freezing. So therefore, leg warmers. It literally was probably May, and I was wearing leg warmers. And she was like, hey, you can't wear that here. And I remember leaving and thinking to myself, you know what? The pay at this job is not the greatest, so therefore the freedom is not there. I don't like Amy. I didn't like how she was. And now I also cannot wear what I want. So we're like, no freedom, no freedom, no freedom. I'm like, I'm not doing this. And that was literally the reason why I was like, I'm not doing this. I don't want to be under this lady. I don't want to be told what to wear. And I don't want to be so capped with my earnings. I don't like it. I'm going to do my own thing, and I'm going to open my own studio, because even though I didn't know anyone, I knew I had the freedom to market online, to post reels, to share on social media, to post stories on Instagram, and create my business in a very everything but passive way. While with her, I would be just like a passive little employee doing what she told me. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So really judging, or really putting everything through the values, through your values. If family is super important to you, then having them close is important to you, then that's something that's valuable. See, I was willing for so many years to sacrifice a lot, so that I could have it exactly like the way I dreamed of when I was first here. The popping to my parents for the weekend is now feasible financially, logistically, work-wise, passports and all. It took 20 years, almost 20 years, probably like 18, but it was worth it. And so, yeah, family is important to me. And now I can like actually like do more with that. But it came with like eyes on the prize, or rather like judging everything by the freedom filter. And if this is not freedom, just recently, maybe last summer, someone was offering me a job from Boston from a gym. And I jokingly said, even if you paid me $500,000, I would not go, because money does not come before freedom for me. If I have to go and put some uniform and go there from 8 to 8 or whatever and be told what to do and what not to do, what to say, what not to say, how to do things, no, I'm too old for this. And the girls cannot pay you $500,000. I was like, that's fine. I know you wouldn't be able to. So yeah, so that is a key. And and knowing your own is very important, because it will help you make decisions without making lists of pros and cons. I don't need no lists. It was very clear to me, I'm not going to go to work this job. Nothing they can offer me will be according to my freedom. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Totally. And we'll get to that in some later podcasts, but there's another surface which touches upon the same subject with both of us, having exactly the same kind of mentality. There's one goal. It's mostly or most importantly, it's the freedom of being, and that's really interesting to hear that from somebody as well who built the same life almost, or has made similar steps in life. It's very fascinating. Thank you for enlightening us about that, Monika.
Yeah, because every choice is always aligned with your highest value, like you said, with your freedom, for example. And as long as you follow that alignment, your values, it's also much easier to make the direction of the destination you want to be in your roadmap.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get there on another podcast.
Yeah.
Keep on following, and Clara and I will take that subject along as well at some point.
Yeah.
Good. It's a really nice one, eh?
Yeah, I really like it. And our next question is, after working with so many women over the years in fitness and also business, all like your really big community that just keeps on growing over the years, are there any patterns that come up a lot that you have seen those just happening a lot, specifically with women, and that's to do with stories from the past, limiting beliefs that stop them from doing the things that they always dreamt of doing? What's a recurring one that you saw the most?
we would have to put everyone in one bucket, because there's fitness and there's business.
Okay.
But I think that the biggest thing kind of across the board is that many people who work with me are like me, in the sense that they are doing something different than people around them. So whether they're families, just like yourself, whether they're families or what they know growing up. And so they have this seed or this thought, this desire to do something, but they don't have either many or any examples in their lives, or they straight up don't have the agreement, just the way I didn't from my parents, to do the thing I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so it's difficult for them to see it for themselves, because they don't have examples. So it's not like they follow someone or their parents' footsteps, and they don't have many people in their environment doing the same thing. So that's the difficulty. And of course, just like it's helpful to surround yourself with people who do something like that, who are on a similar path. And my way of working with one-on-one in performance coaching and in business and life, because it really is all together, is that in working on your goals, in creating your website, and creating your content, and creating your business, we then discover and work through the mindset things. It's not like we're doing some mindset course and we sit down, okay, Clara, so tell me about your limiting beliefs. And you'd be like, I don't know. Or tell me about the money stories. And be like, oh,
You don't even see them. Yeah.
no clue. I don't know. But in doing, people realize, oh, shoot, I have such a hard time valuing myself. I should price myself higher. I literally had that conversation with a client who was a physical therapist last Sunday, and she was like, you know how much schooling I did? And she was like, I offered this lady to charge her $150 an hour. And the lady was like, absolutely not. At least $200. Like, there's just no way. And talking about pricing yourself and valuing yourself in this case, it's so interesting, to see where you want to do something different than other people around you. You don't have the examples, you don't have the people to follow. It's so interesting how some just stop because they can't handle the pressure. Or because there's a lot of pressure from the family being like, no, you should do it this way, you should do it this way, you should do what's wrong with you, what's wrong with you. But if you prevail, you will see that they will come along, they will see what you saw all along. My parents literally made fun of me and asked me for years, like, when are you going to have your real job? Because for them, I was like a physical education teacher, which in Poland, being a teacher, you at least, if you teach history or maybe chemistry or something, you have like the respect. But are you physical education teacher? You're like the last of the last of the, you're right before the custodian. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, that's the, I was actually thinking about it recently. I was like, it's probably like the person who was not good enough to like have a career in sports. So like they became a teacher for kids. Like, what? So my parents for the longest were like, oh, when you're gonna have a real job, when you're gonna have a real job. And I remember in 2012 showing them how much money I was making. And I was like, this is a real job. I work with real people. This is a real job. They still didn't see it. And now for the last 3 years that I've been traveling quarterly and they know me, they see what I do, they see how I love what I do. They see the freedom that I have now being able to visit and work from there. They just saw it now. So, we don't, if you're in this position that you don't have an agreement of your friends, family, people around you, and you're trying to do something different, don't stop. It's normal that they don't see the vision. It's normal. They didn't do it. They didn't have anyone. They don't see the vision. Don't even look for support over there because they don't have it. It's like they're blind to it. But surround yourself with people who see it. Surround yourself with people who also are on the same path, developing something of their own, living by their own values, by their own passions, and take the good energy, the motivation, the support, the accountability from that, from your mentor, from the community, and your people will come along one day. They will see what you saw for yourself. But don't worry about them being, negative or something. A lot of times it doesn't come from anything else other than they worry about you because they don't know what's there for you. They don't know, will you be able to, be by yourself, or will you be able to run the business, or will you not regret not having kids one day? All sorts of things that they did one way and you choosing to do a different way. They don't know this version, so they don't know what to tell you. A lot of times when my parents try to give me relationship advice, and I will ask them and ask them. And then finally they're like, you know what? We don't know any of this. We met when we were 16. We got married when we were 23. We're together. Now they're 68 and 69. We've never dealt with these issues. And I'm like, there you go. So at least now you know that you cannot advise in this capacity. So yeah. So I hope this gives a bit of context and help for the folks who made the situation.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. I thank you for explaining everything, and then I think it will help our listeners who maybe decide at some point, well, I'm going to go on my own and let's just do it. And that's exactly what you did, what we did, we're doing, and yeah, it's like you said, sometimes you cannot explain it to anybody. You just see their eyes glaze up, and okay, let's just continue to football or something like that.
Yeah.
Did you guys have to deal with a lot of pushback from your family, or because you're grown enough, they let you be and they didn't make any comments about your choices?
On my side, I got a lot of comments, and I still don't have like 100% support on everything that we do. There has come a little bit more understanding over the years, the last 5 years, that we decided to live like this and the choices that we made. But it's not the full support that I get from Iggy's parents, for example, because they always live on the water. So for them, this is like their dream life. What we are doing right now, they wish they did it when they were young, and that we are living this. They really feel very happy and proud for what we are doing. Exactly. But on my side of my family, because they've never been on boats, they have no idea what we are trying to do here. I tell them, I'm creating content online to show people how we live on the water, and if they want to, they can stay with us on our bed and breakfast, or they can cook with me online. They listen, but they don't really understand what I'm trying to do. And I show them videos of what we are doing, and I just get, oh yeah, it's very beautiful. I don't know what you're doing, I don't understand it, but it's very beautiful. I'm like, well, thank you. So I know, like you always told me, you need to find your people, and that's such a great advice, because even if you don't have the people in your surroundings, your direct surroundings, you can always go online and find your community. And in your community, I found a lot of people who care about their mind and their body. And it helped me see how much I was lacking on self-care. And I learned a lot as well in your community. But also now on my own small community of travelers who are following us, to see them just leaving things behind and travel wherever they want to go, or moving across continents and just doing it, even if they are not rich or they don't have a digital nomad job or something like that. They are still doing it. And for us, it's always been, as long as you have the courage to go after it, you just have to do it. And don't, like you said, don't mind the people that always were there in your life that don't understand it, and just do your thing. And that's always helped me a lot. Yeah.
I didn't. Like Clara said, my parents fully supported it. My parents both lived as a skipper on a traditional sailing boat. When I was 4 or 5 years old. My youngest brother has been conceived on that boat. And we lived there. We lived there three or four summers. In a small space the size of most people's bathroom, and we used to live there, eat there, sleep there, do everything. And then when we decided to live on a boat and sell the house, they were actually they were very proud of it, and they wished that they would have done that earlier. That when my brothers left the house, that they would have started to live on a boat as well.
Yeah.
And that sometimes I see sometimes regret in them that they didn't chose the life we've chosen now. But for the rest, they're super supportive, and they're compensating quite a bit from Clara's family, I suppose.
Yeah.
This is such a beautiful thing, you guys, because Clara, you sharing and then Iggy, you just confirming, it's literally like, because Iggy's parents did it, it was familiar for them, they knew it, it was not something they would rebel against or have fears against or anything like that, because they knew it. But Clara, your family, they didn't know of it, they didn't know anyone who did it. For them, it was foreign, it was unknown, it was weird, or what, not anyone that they know is doing this kind of stuff. So therefore, oh my God, you can't be the first one. So that's the thing, like when something is, not everyone is open-minded, and maybe now with the internet and the travel being so easy, people will be a bit more open-minded, but not everyone is open-minded to accept and love and appreciate something they completely don't know. Many people react to it with fear of like, oh, but is it going to be safe? Is it going to be good? What do you think? Is this, sometimes it's what people are going to say, all sorts of things. So therefore, when you logically think about it without emotions of like the family not supporting you, it's because they don't know it. It's because they've never experienced anything like this. It's because there's fear, there's anxiety, there's worry for you, all sorts of things. And it usually comes from like a good place. It just doesn't come across as a good thing, you know? It comes from a good place. It just comes across like, what the heck, mom? What do you mean I'm a physical education teacher? And when am I going to get a real job? This is a real job. And actually, you know, to make things funny, one of the first times I went to Poland, and I remember so vividly. I was doing life coaching with Trisha. Trisha is a bookkeeper, and it was 11 o'clock or we usually meet at 4:30 p.m., so at 10:30 over there on Monday. So right before the Monday class. And I'm sitting in the kitchen having coffee and talking to Trisha, and she was going through something. And my mom, and bless her, because they had no clue. I had to sit them down and be like, listen. So she walks into the kitchen, stands in the door, and she goes, "Oh my God, Monika, be done already." And she did it in Polish. I was like,
Yeah.
what? Because for her, it was just me blabbing to the phone or to the iPad. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, it's 11 o'clock at night. Like, zip it already. I was like, oh. So the next morning, I sat them down at breakfast and was like, listen, just clarify how you're saying, oh, they don't understand. The beautiful pictures. I don't know. You know, and so I sat them down. I was like, listen, I understand that for you, it's very foreign what I do here. The exercise, you maybe understand. Okay, I teach exercise on the video. Cool. But the other stuff that I do, as close as I can explain this to you, is teaching business, and sometimes it's therapy, okay? So if we're having a teaching business class and therapy, you don't come and stand at the door and say, "Oh, be done already. What are you doing?" I'm like, this is a client, she pays me money, and this is the reason I can for 3 months. What are you talking about? And then they were also whiny about me making videos all the time and content. And I said to them, I also had to sit them down and explain to them, listen, when I come here, I'm in a different environment. People want to see it. People have never been to Poland. They think I live with the bear land, in the bear land, like that I come from some wood or something. I want to educate. I do live in the bear land. I do want to educate people. I do want to show them where I come from. And I also do this for business. It's content. I later get to repurpose this and post this. So, you know, it took some time for them to understand, and me going every 3 months and them seeing me talking to people, them seeing me teach classes, or like my mom would be like, just be quiet when you teach the class. Like, I can't be quiet. Be quiet is an exercise class. What do you mean? So it took a while, and it took some sitting down and explaining them calmly, like, listen, this is my work. I need to make the videos. If you don't want to be in the video, that's okay. I will not put you in the video. I will put the back of your head in the video, or, you know, no one there. But this is what I need to do. This is part of my work. And me coming here is partially to visit you, but I also have to work here. So, you know, they understood there. So give them some time, Clara. Give them some time. It's fear, it's worry, it's the unknown. And also, you know, being the person in your family who's doing things differently, you just have to show them your vision, but you only can see, that's the thing, you can't show them by having a conversation with them and explaining to them. They have to see it. They have to like actually see it to understand and to see it.
Yeah.
They don't see the vision. They cannot talk about it and kind of imagine it. They have to actually see it. So it takes time because you have to have the thing built for them to see it. So
yeah. And you're also right when it comes to communication, that if you keep on communicating to them what you are doing and explaining to them in a simple way, that they feel a little bit more comfortable about it. Like, okay, I get that, even if it's very simplified, that they can get it slowly. I think that also helps. Just
and
keep
it helped really a lot when your father was visiting from Portugal.
Oh yeah, my father, he saw the boat for the first time after 3 years that we lived here. And I was showing him pictures and videos of me going through the boat and showing everything, but he had no clue how big it was. And when he saw it, he was like, whoa, this boat is big. You live in it? I said, yeah, that's what I've been telling you. And then he came in and he was like, wow, this is amazing. And it's so big and it looks so comfortable. He was over the moon and he was taking pictures everywhere to show everyone, like, my daughter, she lives on a boat. So when he came here, he really got it. And nowadays when I tell him, yeah, we are busy with the boat, we are painting or sand, it's like, oh yeah, that's a lot of work. He gets it because he was here And on the other hand, my mother recently, she came here as well. And I never knew that she was afraid of water. And this week, for the first time in my 40 years, I understood why she doesn't like the boat, because she's afraid of water. And I had no idea. When she told me the story behind it, like the past that traumatized her a little bit, I was like, yeah, there's no wonder that she doesn't get it, because for her, I'm living in a very scary
Dangerous
way.
place. Yeah.
And she really doesn't get it. I invited her so many times for breakfast to stay with us and visit different places so she can, experience it a little bit and be more comfortable. And she always said no. And this week I finally got it why she never accepted it and why she doesn't understand it. And that brought me so much clarity. And it was just a very simple conversation after 5 years that now I get it and it's okay. Yeah.
I'm smiling, Clara, because I don't know how to swim. So remember, we were joking. I joked
Yeah.
that when I visit, I'm going to be 24/7 with a life jacket on.
Life vest.
I'm going to have floaties on my feet, on my shoulders, 24/7.
And your legs.
I'm going to have the wheel in the middle. Yeah, so I will do it. I'm not gonna be like your mother. I will be brave, but I also will have the floaties and I'm ready to go. So yeah. Is it deep there where you guys are, or is it not really deep? It's probably super deep, right?
No. You can.
Well, guys, now it's not deep.
Right now, if I now jump overboard, I'll stand till here. I'm 1.99 m, so 6'8".
Yeah, it's not deep.
It's,
But if we are on a lake,
if we're on a lake, depends on it, but then you usually have 2 to 3 meter water. So what is that? 12 to 20 foot of water underneath.
sometimes 8 meters. So
Sometimes some places deeper, yes,
Yeah.
but
Enough for me
most
to
of it-
drown. Enough for me to drown. So I'm coming with a
Yeah, well,
floaty in the middle, floaty down here, and I'm be ready to go.
we have very nice life jackets. So
And he has a lot of training in rescuing people
definitely.
from a professional job. Yeah.
So no, it's totally safe for that matter, and with the life jackets and all, then there's
No, I'm kidding.
no
I mean, I'm
worry,
not gonna.
nothing to worry about.
No one is jumping abroad. No. We're not jumping off. No.
Anyway,
It's a little bit past. Shall we wrap it up?
we're gonna wrap it up. Yeah.
Yeah. We have one last last question.
Last question. And for those who are listening, and if they feel disconnected from their body, their joy, or disconnected from their path, what's one gentle reminder you would offer them? And I'd like to ask you to make it snappy and short, so they can take it immediately. They remember it when they listen to it, or when they rethink about their lives, for that matter. So a short and snappy phrase. What could you advise them? What could you say to them?
Take a walk in a cemetery.
Oh,
Nice.
That's interesting.
Well, we have beautiful cemeteries here, and they kind of look like a garden always. Although in Poland too, and when I go, I always go visit my grandparents and see them. And you see everyone there. Life is not guaranteed. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. It's not a sure thing. We have 60 years, 70 years, 80 years. Maybe we have 8 weeks or months.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest reminder. And it's also a reminder to do what you want to do, because one day you're over there, no one cares. So what that someone judges you? So what that someone has something to say whether you're doing something or not? Take a walk around the cemetery, look at the stones, look at the pictures, look at the stories, and it should motivate you to move your body. You will be moving your body there, and it will motivate you. There was a year that I took cemetery walks every single day because it's quiet, no one goes there, no one bothers you. It's very safe and it's beautiful. So I do recommend that. It's a reminder that we all end up there. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. So let's go. We got to live our lives with urgency, not rushing, but with urgency.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. I totally agree. Thank you
So
very much for
powerful.
that powerful reminder.
Thank you so much
Thank you
for
so much,
having me.
Mon, for your time. Yeah, it was amazing. Really lovely to have you again. Yeah.
Yeah. And don't make it another 7 years before we meet in person again, Monika.
We're meeting soon. We're meeting soon.
All right.
Thank
Very
you so
well.
much, guys. That was so fun. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.